Hear this first line like a bell. A small scan can change the map of living. Stay for what follows, and in 10 calm minutes receive 3 gifts: an effortless body energy scan to dissolve habitual knots, a practical micro-habit to rewire neural loops, and a simple resonance practice that invites aligned opportunities like a magnet. Allow curiosity to open the chest, the mind to settle, and the body to remember how to listen. Now, let this promise settle into the bones. Set an intention that feels honest and soft, to notice without fixing, to explore without force. Intent is the quiet compass of attention. It does not push outcomes, but orients the nervous system toward possibility. Hold this intention as warmth at the sternum, a tiny candle guiding the attention inward. Let that gentle flame be the starting point for how the attention will move. A scan that takes moments reshapes habits because the brain loves repetition, even tiny ones. Each micro-attention episode is a training signal for neural pathways. When attention lands with curiosity rather than judgment, the amygdala quiets and the prefrontal cortex can remap responses. Think of the brain as malleable clay. Small movements, done often, change the whole sculpture. Let that image guide the first physical steps. Find a posture that invites ease, seated, lying, or standing with soft knees. Allow the jaw to unclench, the shoulders to drift down. Place a hand lightly over the heart if that feels steadying. The body is the field, the scan will be the light moving across it. Breathe 3 slow breaths, each out longer than the in, and let the space between breaths widen the listening. Now gently let attention be ready to move. Begin by noticing the inhalation as it arrives and the exhalation as it leaves. Let the breaths become a metronome that slows the hurry of thought. Each exhale is an invitation to notice what follows: a warmth, a tightness, a neutral pause. Anchor here for 3 cycles, not to fix anything but to create a stable stage for the scan. Breathe and let attention linger gently at the edge of sensation. Shift a fingertip of attention to the top of the head and slowly trace down as if a soft scanner moves across a blueprint. Pause at the forehead, the temples, the jaw, the throat. Notice temperature, weight, tension, or openness. No need to interpret. Name the sensation to the mind in 3 words, maximum for instance: warm, tight, soft. Naming transforms confusion into a map and calms the autonomic nervous system. Let the scan continue downward. When the scan finds resistance, a knot of tension, a tight breath, an ache, resist the urge to fix. Instead, breathe toward the spot and meet it with curiosity. Imagine the attention like a lantern rather than a surgeon's tool. Warm illumination often loosens what force tightens. Maintain this receptive presence for a few cycles and observe any subtle shifts. Let the field respond to interest rather than demand. If a sensation asks for movement, a micro-release, a soft sigh, a small roll of the shoulder, allow it. Movements should be intentful and minimal. A breath that softens the throat, a tiny unclench of the jaw, a blink to reset the gaze. These micro-releases signal to the brain that change is safe, helping to break the loop that keeps tension alive. Notice the difference after even the smallest release. Complete the scan by placing attention back at the heart center for a full breath or 2, offering a quiet acknowledgement to the body. Gratitude here is not cheerleading, it is recognition. The brain tracks what is noticed and rewarded. By closing with warmth, the nervous system stores the experience as safe and belonging, making repetition more likely. Take this gentle loop as the seed of habitual change. Imagine the nervous system as a finely tuned instrument. Habit loops are like well-worn grooves in a record. Attention is the needle that decides which groove plays. Micro-awareness scans gently lift the needle and guide it to a new groove. This simple shift in trajectory, repeated, alters the music of living. Hold this image as the path from small acts to large change. Here the wonder appears. Quantum language, fields, resonance, entanglement, mirrors what modern neuroscience shows about coherence and attention. When inner states align, coherence between heart and brain, electromagnetic patterns stabilize and behavior tilts toward states that match that resonance. In practical terms, when attention consistently returns with calm and clarity, the brain's predictive models update, inviting different experiences. Let that convergence sink in as both poetic and clinical. There is a specific moment that often feels like an aha, when an old reaction softens and a new possibility becomes visible. In that instant, the field has shifted. Energy patterns realign, attention chooses a different response, and paths to fresh opportunities appear. That feeling is the magnet in action. The state cultivated by the scan becomes a signpost that attracts corresponding circumstances. Allow this recognition to be both humbling and empowering. To make the insight durable, anchor it physically. Choose a simple gesture, a soft press of the thumb and forefinger, a hand over the heart, or a small vocal hum. Combine this anchor with the scan. When the body softens and attention settles, touch the anchor and name the quality intended. Calm, clarity, openness. Repeat the anchor 3 times across a week to help the brain link the internal state with a reliable external cue. Magnetizing opportunities is less about wishing and more about rehearsed resonance. Visualize a scene where an aligned opportunity appears. Feel the body energy state, the openness, the small gestures, the tone of voice. Then return to the present with the anchor. This rehearsal trains the brain's predictive engine, making it more likely to notice and engage with matching conditions in the world. Carry that rehearsal into the daily rhythm. Take a moment to scan the map of the experience just completed. Notice the sensations that shifted, the places that remain. Reflection is not a checklist, but a conversation with presence. Name one subtle change that felt meaningful, steadier breath, a lighter jaw, or a new idea that arrived. Acknowledging this anchors the learning and prepares the mind for practical integration. Commit to a micro-practice, 3 daily scans of 1 to 2 minutes each, morning, midday, and before sleep. Pair the practice with the anchor gesture and a 1-line intention. This tiny routine fits into life without friction and signals the brain repeatedly that a new groove is preferred. Over weeks, those brief repetitions compound into rewiring that supports more coherent presence and greater magnetic alignment. This practice is contagious in the most generous way. Calm attention spreads. When the internal field stabilizes, interactions become clearer and more inviting, which attracts opportunities aligned with that clarity. Consider sharing the scan with someone, a 2-minute guided exchange that cultivates mutual resonance. Small communities of practice amplify the magnetic field of possibility. Today moved from invitation to method, a precise microscan, practical releases, a scientific poetic bridge to resonance, and an anchored rehearsal to magnetize aligned opportunities. Carry forward the 3 gifts promised at the start: the scan to dissolve blocks, the micro-habit to rewire loops, and the resonance practice to attract. Begin now, breathe, scan, anchor, and if this practice landed, return daily and let it shape how presence meets possibility. For more guided practices and to share how this shifted life, subscribe and leave a note about the first small change noticed. This is where the ripple begins.